What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It's time for La Liga Week 21 predictions. And I will just say this, in my genuinely unbiased opinion, I think Barcelona were robbed against Real Sociedad. My goodness, just watch the game. Like, oh my god. Anyway, we are here to predict La Liga. So make sure you drop a like on this video, as when you do, a football will fly over the like button. Leave your predictions down in the comments below. And let's get started with an interesting Friday night fixture. We travel to Levante versus Elche. Levante obviously played a lackluster Real Madrid, losing 2-0. Elche, they blew a 2-goal lead against Sevilla, making it a 2-2 draw. I think Elche will need to bounce back from this one. I know they're a better team at home, but Levante, in my opinion, aren't that great, and they're considered the home favourites here. They've got this one win against Sevilla, which was scandalous. Could not believe that result. That just was a blip. I think this is going to end in a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. But because Elche here, as you can see, are the underdogs, the tip is Elche double chance at odds of 1.5. If you want to boost up the odds, you could say Elche double chance and under 3.5 goals. But ultimately, I think the draw is pretty good. You're saying that you're getting 1.5 odds for Levante not to win. And they've only won 3 games all season. So I think Elche can survive a loss. They've obviously only lost 6 games all season. The odds just look a little bit flipped for me, so I'm going for Elche double chance. After this, it's Rayo Vallecano up against Osasuna. Osasuna, they huffed and they puffed. They got their 3-2 win in the end against Real Oviedo. Vallecano got absolutely battered by Celta Vigo, 3-0. But Vallecano, they are, in my opinion, sort of a home side. They're on the exact same amount of points as Osasuna. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Rayo Vallecano here. And I actually really like the odds of Rayo Vallecano to win at 2.1. I think the odds are very, very good. They should bounce back here and get a win at home. After this, it is Valencia up against Espanyol. I predicted it last week. Valencia were 3.2 odds to beat Getafe. I said in the video I was going for an upset. I went for a 1-0 Valencia win, and we got it absolutely spot on. That was our one correct score of the week for La Liga last week, and it was an underdog. I sort of defined an underdog as a team that's 3 or higher odds to win. To get an underdog correct score like that is very, very cool. And Valencia are playing an Espanyol side who are having a brilliant season. It was non-stop green, and now it's 1 point from the last 3, losing to Barcelona, but also drawing with Levante and losing to Girona. Not a good look for Espanyol. Valencia, they've done a Fiorentina. Valencia and Fiorentina, 2 of the teams that I've been backing, even when they were right in the relegation zone, that they would make the escape climb out. Valencia, with that win, are now out of the relegation zone, and I don't think... I mean, maybe they drop back in, but I think they're too good to go down. I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw between the 2 teams here. Yes, Espanyol are having a great season. Valencia are having a bad season. I think Valencia are underperforming their capabilities. I think Espanyol are slightly overperforming their capabilities, and ultimately they could maybe match a little bit more in the middle. So I'm going for a draw. The tip is both teams to score at odds of 1.95, because I think the odds there are very, very good. After this, it is Sevilla up against Athletic Bilbao. Sevilla, that draw against Elche, it's a great comeback, but that's 1 point in their last 4, beating Real Oviedo last month. We can disregard that. They're basically winless. Athletic Bilbao don't look very good, but they have a very, very good recent record against Sevilla. I think they've won at least 3 of the last 4 games. Home, away, it doesn't seem to matter. They're having a better season than Sevilla as well. Only just. They're on a poor run of form. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Athletic Bilbao. I found this one really tricky. I feel like if you bet unders on this game, it will go over. If you bet overs, it will go under. So I'm just going to say that Sevilla won't win. The tip is going to be Athletic Bilbao, draw no bet, at odds of 1.66. After this, it's game of the week. It definitely is. It's Villarreal up against Real Madrid. Villarreal lost to Real Betis 2-0. That's not a good result. They play Ajax in the Champions League in a meaningless fixture, but you guys will know the result of that by the time this goes out. Real Madrid, they play Monaco in the Champions League. I assume they do beat Monaco, but then again, you never know. With Barcelona's scandalous, controversial loss to Real Sociedad, it's now Real Madrid 1 point behind them, and I do think that's going to will them to a win here. I really wanted to go for an upset and say that Villarreal would win, but I'm just going to give it to Real Madrid. I think they'll find a way. I know things aren't great at Real Madrid right now, but they've been given a chance to really catch Barcelona here, and I just wonder if maybe they take it. So I've gone for a 2-1 win to Real Madrid, and because the odds are above evens, I've actually gone for Real Madrid to win at 2.05. It's very rare you get odds for Real Madrid like that in La Liga, unless they're playing Barcelona, where generally they're not even the favourites. So I'll go with the Real Madrid win. I want to say I hope they don't, to give Villarreal the win. Obviously, Villarreal have a game in hand. So if they beat Real Madrid here and then they win their game in hand, they're 1 point behind Real Madrid. So I would like a 3-horse race in that sense, but I'm just going to go for a 2-1 Real Madrid win. After this, it is Atletico Madrid up against Mallorca, who are on the same points as Villarreal, but they've played that extra game. They're going to win this one, in my opinion. They've got a tricky trip in the Champions League away to Galatasaray, but I think they're going to win this game against Mallorca regardless. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. They got a good win against Alaves 1-0. We tipped Atletico Madrid and under 3.5 goals at 1.86. I'm going to do the same tip again at higher odds. Atletico Madrid to win and under 3.5 goals at 2. Maybe it'll be high scoring because Mallorca had a mental 3-2 game against Bilbao. That I would call an anomaly in terms of stats. First of all, Mallorca beating them in the first place I think is a great result, but to have 5 goals is pretty unheard of. I think Atletico Madrid will do the professional job here and get a 2-0 win. After this, it's Barcelona against Real Oviedo. Real Oviedo at the bottom of the league, winning 2 games this season. Barcelona winning every game until that game against Real Sociedad. I think they had 3 disallowed goals in the first half. They had a penalty that then got overturned by VAR in the first half. They hit the post a bunch of times. I think they won the XG about 4-1 against Real Sociedad. I know XG isn't everything, but it certainly does paint a picture. And XG, I don't think XG even counts offside, disallowed goals and everything like that. One of which I just don't think was offside. So Barcelona played really well. They played some brilliant football. I think they'll win in the Champions League convincingly, and I think they'll win here convincingly as well. And you'll remember, towards the start of the season, I correctly predicted that Real Madrid would beat Real Oviedo 3-0, and that Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. would both score. That did happen. I also said in that prediction, to make it a perfect one, I guess, I said that Barcelona would probably put 4 or 5 past Real Oviedo, but I thought Real Madrid would do only 3. So everything about that prediction came true at the time. The goal scorers, the scoreline. So now we just need Barcelona to uphold that part of the prediction and score at least 4. I'm going to go for a 4-0. The tip, however, is Barcelona -2 handicap at 1.83. That allows for a 3-0. It allows for a 4-1. But if Barcelona play like they did against Real Sociedad in every game for the rest of the season, they will win the league. And I think they're going to bounce back emphatically here with a massive 4-0 win. After this, it is Real Sociedad up against Celta Vigo. Sociedad, yes, they took their chances. They got their 2 goals, but my goodness, they were lucky. Celta Vigo, on the other hand, battered Rayo Vallecano. They are arguably, they're the team side of the form side of La Liga right now, Celta Vigo. This is a really tricky one. Celta Vigo are on a great run, as I said, but Sociedad, they are another sort of home side. I think they're a team that, for whatever reason, benefits that little bit more from the home advantage. And after that win against Barcelona, they've got to build on that. They can really push for a European spot. If they take 3 points here, they close the gap between them and Celta Vigo in 7th to just the 5 points. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Real Sociedad win. In case we see a 1-1 draw or it goes 2-1 the other way even, I'm going to tip both teams to score and under 3.5 goals. The odds are 3. That's come in quite a lot this season with Celta Vigo, so I'm going for it again with a Real Sociedad win. After this, it's Alaves up against Real Betis. Betis with a brilliant win against Villarreal. They'll be pushing for as high up the league as they can, maybe even a Champions League spot if they do really, really well, and depending on the coefficients as to how many places in La Liga get Champions League, Real Betis can definitely make it there. So Real Betis, I think, are going to win this game against Alaves. I think it'll be characteristically low scoring. I'm going for a 1-0 win. You could look at under 2.5 goals. I've just gone with Real Betis, draw no bet, at odds of 1.66. After this, it is Girona up against Getafe. Getafe winless in 6, 1 point in 6. Girona 3 wins in a row, just distancing themselves from the relegation places, obviously on 15 before those 3 games. So right down here, they've got the 3 wins, 2-0 against Espanyol, 2-1 Mallorca and 1-0 Osasuna. I think it's going to be very similar, low scoring. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Girona. The tip, however, is going to be under 2.5 goals at odds of 1.44. There's a summary of my picks. I would love to see an upset between Villarreal and Real Madrid. I just think it'd be really funny and for the league. Obviously, Barcelona are not going to drop points to Real Oviedo, so if that upset does happen, they re-extend their lead, but I would call that poetic justice given their result against Real Sociedad, who I'm predicting to get another incredible win against, like I said, the form team of La Liga in recent weeks in Celta Vigo. But ultimately, those are my picks. Please do leave your predictions down in the comments below. And whilst you're down there, real quick, flashing up on the screen are everyone that is supporting me over on the Patreon. So if you want to shout out in every single video, access to exclusive members tips and accumulators, as well as my League predictions, which are exclusively over there on Patreon, just like I've done for La Liga today. You also get access to giveaways, direct messaging to me, the group chats. If that's something you'd be interested in, then click the top link in the description, head over to patreon.com/thefull90, and I hope to see you there. Massive thank you again to all of you that support me on these videos, on the channel, and of course over there on Patreon. But that is going to do it from me. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming content. We've of course got the Premier League back tomorrow, the live show on Friday, so I can't wait to see you there. But that is going to do it from me, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.